are coming up to the exits for Rochester, New York State. So we'll say hi to Kairos. We would pop in for coffee and to say hi to Salem, but we are on a bit of a mission. Salem's his dog.
Right.
German Shepherd. So another 214 miles to go on the I-90 before we turn off and head towards Boston. Due to arrive at about 20 past 6 this evening. So we just stopped at Port Byron Service Oasis, which sounds so much more refreshing than Newport Pagnell Motorway Service Station, doesn't it? We are now in an oasis just off the I-90, where we are stopping for brunch, but we've already had breakfast. We've already had the breakfast buffet, so we had toast and bagels and cornflakes and yogurts and pancakes, and we eventually got coffee and orange juice, but story for another day. I must admit that holiday in the front desk service was shit. Check-in was fine, but check-out, we were due to pay cash, but the guy just couldn't be asked to process it. So that went on the card, which kind of fucks up my budget somewhat. And breakfast this morning, they were just so ditzy. We gave them the voucher because we'd already paid for breakfast, and then she gives us the check with everything on it. And then we said, well, we gave you the voucher. And she said, oh, did you? Yes, we gave you the voucher. And then she had to go and check on our room number to see whether we had the voucher or not. And then it took ages to get fucking coffee. Anyway, so that's the only time actually we have had any type of meal and left no tip because the service was shit. But last night though, we ate in the same restaurant and we had fantastic food and good beer, and the lady there was lovely, and I think she got away with just shy of $30 tip. So she did okay, but that's what you get for good service. Still, we've now got 200 and something miles to go before we turn off the I-90, and I think we turn off the I-90 for the very last time. We may have to do a little bit the day after tomorrow to go west again, to go down to DC, and then from DC it's then back up to New York City. But we can't really go any more east after today, or we will be in the Atlantic. So we really have stuck to that highway near enough since Sioux City, just outside Colorado. So we've done about 3/4 of North America on one road. It's a very long road. And this part of it is a toll road, and today it's going to cost... it goes all the way down to exit 15 and we're below that, so it's going to cost $18.35. We are a class 2L apparently, 2-axle vehicle under 7'6" in height. So yeah, that's quite expensive, isn't it? Almost $20. But mind you, we are travelling like 300 miles down it, and it is full of roadworks, so I guess I have to pay for them somewhere. We did come out of one lot of roadworks, and we saw the thing you do in the films where you've got the cop sat by the motorway bridge and he's just hanging out his door with his laser gun scanning everyone just outside the roadworks because it dropped to a 55. But thankfully there was a whole shed load of lorries and caravans and God knows what, so everyone came out there doing about 40. But you just know he's going to scan some car going past, and then suddenly jump back in his car and go off with lights ablazing. But notice near enough everyone in this state has got like a laser radar detector on their windscreen. Very similar to like we used to at home, sort of like 15-20 years ago when radar guns were popular. Now of course it's all Gatzos and laser van stuff where the detectors, to be honest, aren't particularly effective on. So they're fairly pointless anymore. And plus, everyone's sat nav is programmed up with all the speed camera maps. So that's the easier way of doing it. It's also a bit more discreet than this bloody great box just sat in the middle of your windscreen, because it's fairly obvious what it's there for. Still, so we're just going to bang down the I-90 and carry on. One thing that Jamie's playing some... I'm going to go off on a weird tangent now. Jamie was playing some music earlier, like taking requests. So he asked for an artist, so I said Degas, but only during his early period. After 10 minutes he finally worked out that that wasn't a musical artist, so I asked for another one. So we got him to do Martin Garrix, and so he put on Animals. But it's quite interesting, because that sort of music, Martin Garrix uses a program called FL Studio, which is called Fruit Loops. I think he uses it on an iMac. But that program looks so similar to a program called Soundtracker that we used to use on the Amiga 25 years ago, and the actual music sounds very, very much the same. So it's sort of come round a complete circle again, that people are producing music using quite simple sequencers. The only thing that's changed really back then is it, like, I think 22.5 kilohertz at 8-bit, and now it's probably 96 kilohertz at 24-bit. But the concepts remain the same. You're just sequencing all these patches together. So Martin Garrix did that one song called Animals. But suddenly it shot in my head, a friend of mine, he's hopefully watching these videos, hi Adam, known as Specs at the time, going back 25 years ago, did quite a similar sort of sequence song on Soundtracker on the Amiga in Dell's bedroom, I think it was, called Chainsaw Chicken. So here's celebrating the 25th anniversary of Chainsaw Chicken on the Amiga. I wonder if you've still got that song or a copy of it, Adam. Some of your old Amiga Soundtracker stuff. I know you've got a lot of retro gear, so you may perhaps still have some of your old Soundtracker things. Okay, I'm going to stop waffling now. I'm only waffling because I know today's video is going to be really, really short, because basically we're just driving along this bloody highway. We're not going to get to Boston now till about 7 o'clock, but I think we're actually in Boston Harbour, which is quite close to the centre of the city. So the plan is to actually go out this evening and perhaps see a bit of the city and eat out and stuff. I know there's quite a nice restaurant in the hotel, but I think really we need to get into the city and view as much as possible, because tomorrow I'm planning on going to Salem, doing the Witch Museum, and have a little look around there, because that's about half an hour away from Boston. And then we want to do this Freedom Trail walk, which takes you around some of the historic sites of Boston, and we'll probably do a few more things there as well, just to have a look around. And then tomorrow night, so we're staying in Boston, and then we're off down to DC for 2 days. So on that one we actually go back through New York down to DC, stay there overnight, have a day in DC, then we've got an early start because we've got to drive back to New York City and drop Nelly off, Nelly the Nissan, and that will be the end of my driving. But I quite enjoyed it. We've clocked up coming up to 5,000 miles now. No, sorry, coming up to, I will actually power on the car and find out. And
gas is coming up at 2 o'clock. The 50K.
3,700 miles. So I reckon, I reckon it's going to be about another 600 or 700, something like that. We've actually, according to the computer on the car, we're now up to 33.7 mpg. So that's a lot better than my car at home. But driving to the gym isn't really known for its highway cruising, so that is quite an advantage here. So yeah, it's actually been the driving. It's been enjoyable. It hasn't been as stressful as I thought because a lot of it was highway, but I'm now so used to going through the cities and stuff that doesn't worry me anymore. I haven't turned the wrong way down a junction for at least a week. I think the last major sort of faux pas was actually going in the loading bay around Chicago. Right, I can see Jamie coming back and people are staring at me for talking to a windscreen, so that's all for now.
It's here.
Now we have a comedy moment where Jamie has lost the internet.
Oh, stop fucking recording. Fucking reality TV.
Incidentally, we found another one of those oldies stations as they started playing the Bee Gees and ELO and stuff. I said, how long is it before Neil Diamond will pop up? And sure enough, next record, they dug him up, even though he's not actually dead yet. So, yeah. It's got to be around somewhere. Says it under the seat. Under my seat. Is it fallen down? Oh, now I have to get in.
What's my signal like? I got full signal, so it's not far away.
There's another sign on your seat. I can't get it.
I've lost the internet.
It's got to be in the car because you're connected to it. Are you sure you're connected to that? It's not some random Wi-Fi.
Okay. It's connected to.
It's got to be in your bag then, surely. Looking for this.
Where was it?
In the door pocket. It's in there. It was next to that bottle.
Fuck's
That comedy moment was brought to you by Jamie's incompetence.
Where is it now?
I tracked it back where it was.
Oh, I couldn't see it then.
I'd say.
I found it. You found it.
Right, well there's 6 minutes of quality video you can watch later. Okay, we've now finished going east. So we've exited I-90, which continued on up to Montreal, I think, somewhere around that way. And we are now heading south on I-87 for another 13 miles, where we exit onto Mass Turnpike at 21A. Oddly, Interstate 90 again. So we're going south a little bit and then rejoining I-90. So we will most likely then continue to go east a bit further. So the fun thing is, it says 21A. We've just looked at the toll ticket, and 21A has 3 different exits on it. So we still don't know how much it is. But it's going to be around the $15 mark, unless we actually continue slightly further. I don't know how the toll thing works, whether we're actually exiting or continue to the other highway. Anyway, that's now coming up to 4:30, and that's the current excitement of the day.
I had a Starbucks.
Oh, Jerry had a Starbucks. He mysteriously went out for a pee and came back with that. I've still got my coffee from earlier, even though it's getting a little cold.
I like freezers.
Sorry?
I like freezers.
You like freezers? Okay, Jamie likes freezers. I like turtles. Thank you, dear. We're done. Okay, so we've now left New York State and we are now in Massachusetts, which looks very much like New York State. We're also running out of fuel. We've got 136 miles to go to Logan Airport, so just over 2 miles if we continue on I-90, and then we should be at the hotel in Boston.
Woo!